Welcome back, class, to another live stream of Animation Collab, where I experiment with new techniques in my animation laboratory in collaboration with other content creators. My name is Sonja and I'm a motion designer. Subscribe if you haven't already. We live stream every Tuesday and Friday. And I think I will be changing the live stream time from 5 p.m. excuse me, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. CET because the summer is here and it's super nice outside. So if you don't mind, we'll postpone the starting time of the live stream. And we are currently on a collaboration series with Andy. He is a cyber Oh my god, I cannot talk today. Too much sun, apparently. Andy's a cybersecurity expert and he has his own YouTube channel. Attack, detect, defend. I think that's the three words. I don't know if I said them in the right order, but he makes cybersecurity videos on his channel and I'm helping him out with an animation for one of his upcoming videos about the attack framework, which is, let me remember, the adversarial techniques T something, and I don't remember, and common knowledge. That's how it ends. We'll see what the acronym actually stands for when we dive into the animation. If you missed any of the live streams of this collaboration series, do check them out on my YouTube channel. All past live streams are available as replays on my YouTube channel. I've also collated them in playlists per series as well as per collaboration for the Animation Collab series. On Fridays, we do Shut Up and Draw, where we illustrate and draw. And I've been, in the past few days, working really hard to produce new promo graphics for posting about the stream on Instagram and for using animated graphics. So I hope you will enjoy those. And now let's jump into the stream. If you have any questions, do leave them in the chat. I am monitoring the chat. And you'll find any links to anything I have mentioned in the description, including to Andy's channel, my other links, my support links, and all of that is all in the description. So let's jump in. Here we are. And I will probably need the headphones in a moment, but we'll probably okay for now. So let's have a look at the storyboard actually. So we left off here and we've been animating for the past few streams. We animated this template that we will be using for different scenes. So this is one of the scenes we'll be using it in. Then there is another scene we will be using it in. And I'm going to combine that template composition and pick out the scenes that I need for each one of these, or the animation that I need for each one of these scenes. And I've set up a market-driven expression animation. Well, a market-driven animation using expressions for that. And if you're interested in having a look at that, go back to that stream. I think it's marker animation, no keyframes. There will also be a tutorial coming up where I condense that information into a 10-minute tutorial. And you can also access the expressions, the project file, and all of that information as a perk if you become a patron on the classroom on Patreon. I call the Patreon the classroom. So if you join the classroom on Patreon, then you can have access to all of that. The links for that are also in the description. And now, so this is essentially the infographic that I would like to animate today. There is also the question of, should I place these in the right timing? But I think I really want to animate this scene. So let's just jump in and animate this scene. And it starts with MITRE is the organization. And I don't think I've imported these scenes yet. There's a possibility I might have. I did not. So first of all, we need to import the scenes, and we can do that by hitting Control-I, or I think there's also a menu, like going through the menu for that, but I don't want to do that. So Control-I is what I usually do, and I go into my scenes. There should be... Where am I? Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Okay. So here we are, animation, and there should be a AI scenes, and I think it's, yeah, this is the one. So we have A, B, C, D, because I separated every single one of these graphics so they can live in their own composition. I find that easier sometimes to set that up in Illustrator and then bring it into After Effects, but you could just bring the whole scene in and then separate it out, but I find it easier this way. And I've imported it, and what I like to do is move these into the comps folder, and then the layers, I move them into a separate folder. I have a scenes, assets, scenes folder, and then comp and layers separated. And what I do then is I duplicate the scenes that I brought in. So this is scene 3 because, sorry, I just interrupted myself. This is scene 1 until here, and then we have the template scene, which comes in between this scene and that scene. So this is scene 3. So I named my Illustrator files and now my comps according to that. And I duplicate these because I always want to keep the original for many reasons. One of them being that I might accidentally delete something and I want to bring it back in the original position, or whatever it might be. I want the original accessible so I don't have to import it again, and so on. So yeah, so we have the framework here actually. Yes, that's what I did. I set up all of the scenes here. So basically what needs to happen is let's go out into the animation composition. Okay, so we have the animation here, and let's go to B, and I need to check the audio. I'll put that on headphones. Put my headphones on, and I'll turn the desktop audio on for you as well so you can hear that. Okay, but that's full on. Bring that down a little bit. Okay, so let's have a look. I always like to leave at least a few frames, so I left 10 frames before the audio starts, because your attention when you start playing a video isn't like immediately there. Your attention is like clicking on the button or like pressing play in whatever form or fashion that might be, and then your attention just a few moments later is on the video. So I don't like having the audio start with the first frame of the video. I like it to be just a little moment before that happens. And also some players, like VLC player, they like to like cut off the beginning or the end. So it's always wise to not start your audio or your animation with the very first frame of a video. So...
Hi there, I'm Andy, and in this video we'll be exploring my...
Okay, so... So this is where the logo thing should start, I think. Oh, okay, because I have set up a template for the text, which is this one. So that should start here. And I like to put markers here so I know what is happening here, because when you have a lot of layers, sometimes you forget what is happening. So I like to keep markers. And I think this was supposed to be like slightly overlapping. I don't know why the text is suddenly gone. I have no idea. Okay. So I considered everything until this logo part of the first scene. So I'll just use it in that context. Oops, I don't mean to move my work area. Yeah, so just as the character moves out of frame, I want this to finish. And as this comes in, I have a layer. I think I still have this layer with the periodic table, but I moved it out of the way. So I actually don't want this to be part of this template, because this text template is going to be used multiple times. And right now, and for that, I don't want this subtitle that will come in to be part of it. And now we need to find out when he's...
And in this video, we'll be exploring my attack framework, which I like hardly refer to as.
And now he says periodic table. Oh, right, that's why it was in that position, actually. But I've decided, randomly, I've decided to not have the position. So previously, when this is behind the title, this was appearing from behind the title. But I feel like that's a little clunky. So instead of doing that, I'll also adjust my windows here a little bit. Instead of that, I would... Oh my god, why is this so huge? Sorry, my windows are not where they're supposed to be. Hi, Mr. M, welcome to the stream. What I would like to do is add a typewriter effect, and that is essentially just, if you have a text here, you don't have to use the effect, but it's easier because it sets up everything for you. What you can do is press U twice, then you have this animate button. I'll go into the zoom of this, and let me move this over here. So you have this. Thank you! Yes, the class is launched, and unfortunately a day after the launch I realized that the button on my website for the class wasn't working. I'm such a professional. So I fixed it today. So if you like, you can join the class now. Okay. So you can go to this, and then you can add a range of different things, but you can also animate the character set, which is just out of view here. I'll see if I can I scroll up further? Maybe it'll be, okay, here. You can animate the character value. Oh, tracking. Yeah, that's a nice one. I don't use that often. But these sorts of things, you can animate them and make the text your own, basically. But what the typewriter preset, the animation preset, I need to go back into the other view. What that one does is it takes a little bit of the work away from you. Okay, I was gonna make this larger, but somehow it doesn't work. Okay, so I'll just double click on this. It adds the effect, it adds the animator, the range selector, which you need, and it adds keyframes. And that way, the automatic thing for it to do is just to write on the text. And that's great, and we're at 20 frames per second, so I'll go 20 frames forward. That's my usual go-to duration for transitions. And I'll add a... Oh, my motion 3 isn't here. I'll add a 75% velocity to the Bezier. Didn't know how to finish my sentence then. So I've got a nifty little plugin, which is in the extensions. Yes. And this is a plugin I really love to use, and I'm not sponsored by them. It is a paid plugin. I still love using it, so that's why I always mention that I use this plugin. You can also just right-click. You can't see that again. Okay, let me scroll up. You can go right-click, velocity, and then you can change the velocity here if you like me, if you like to go for very specific values, or you can use the graph editor to amend your curves to what you like them to be. But just clicking a button and making them the exact velocity I want them to be, it's just really nice. So hey, hi, welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining and complimenting my work. I am really glad that it's helping you. That's what I do it for. And if you have any questions while I'm working, do shoot them in the chat. I'm super happy to answer any questions about animation, about After Effects, motion design in general. If you're struggling with something and you can't figure it out, or if you don't understand something I'm doing on screen right now, do shout it out in the chat and I'm happy to explain it further. So this is the type on effect now. So it goes something like this. It's like super fast. Sometimes the 75%, that's my go-to ease. Sometimes that doesn't work, especially with text. It can look a little bit weird. So let's go with an easy ease. So that's fine. What I could also do, which I did last time, I think, it was 50-50. That was pretty cool. So it like kind of opens up from the center. I forget how I did that. So it was like, okay, this is the other way around. I don't remember which way around it was. So this has to go to 100. This has to go, no, it doesn't work. I always forget. So it's basically this, but the other way around. Okay. Maybe I had to change the offset? No. No. How was it? I don't remember. Maybe I changed this to subtract. Yes, okay. So it's so this is an interesting way that I could do it. So I'm going for the it's like the trim path, but it's for text, and I have a start and an end. I'm starting with 50-50 on both, and the start goes to 0, the end goes to 100, and I change in advance, I change the mode to subtract, and that way it writes on from the center out. So that's an interesting effect. We could go with this, or we can go with the other one. What I could also do, I can duplicate this animator, and instead of switching out the keyframes all the time, I could keep them both. And it was, I think this one was nothing. This one was 0 to 100. Okay, this one is at 0. And then I can just switch between the two and just check, do I prefer this one, or maybe I prefer this other one. Oh, that was the wrong way around for some reason. So maybe it was the start and not the end. Okay, so let's go with start instead. And, oh, what did I do? I broke something. Oh no, this has to be at 100. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it was the start and the end has to be at 100 as well. So now I have both of them, and obviously I don't want to apply both of them, but now I have the option to be like, maybe I like this one. Or, maybe I like this one. And I don't have to keep switching the keyframes to like switch between the two modes. What I could also do if I want to go super advanced, I've never done this before, so don't hold this against me. I wonder if I can switch between them and link that switch, so to speak, to a controller or something. so that I can turn them on and off. But that doesn't work because this opacity has to be at 0. So my idea was, maybe I can switch this to a controller, these two animators. Maybe I can if I add another opacity. Let's see. Opacity, but where did it add that opacity now? So I added an opacity, but I don't know where. Okay, well, I guess it's not possible, so I will stop trying. Oh yeah, I don't know what I did. So I added an opacity, an additional opacity, but apparently it's not showing up. Maybe you can only have one opacity. Okay, doesn't matter. I'll turn this one on for now. And then we can decide oh no, I want the other one. This one. Yeah. Let's keep this one and maybe I'll just switch it back to the other one later on. See what I like better. So, which I lightheartedly refer to as
the periodic table of cyber attacks, and it's the blueprint.
So at this point, this animation needs to finish, and I have a finishing point for this, I think. Ah, no, because... Yeah, I hadn't figured this out yet, because I have the in animation, and I don't have the out animation. But I can quite easily create that by either duplicating the comp and reversing it, or by creating the keyframes that I created before, anything like that. So I think I'm going to use the marker, not the keyframes, sorry, I meant markers, the marker method, the marker-driven animation that I set up for this template framework scene, which is this one. So I have this whole expression set. Let me try and get at this expression. So it's this humongous expression here. It won't let me get all the way to the bottom. I hate that After Effects does this. You can't scroll to the bottom. It's so absolutely annoying. Let me get to the bottom of this. You're so annoying. Okay, there we go. Yeah, why not? Okay, let's do this one. And what I will do is I will have an in and the in animation is until here. Well, this is the in. What should I call it? So when the animation starts, that's the beginning, and I guess this is the in. Okay, let's just call it like that. I want to get rid of this keyframe, and no other keyframes are in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to update markers from source. That way, I only have 2 markers in here. And I forget where I put this expression. It was on the time remapping, but I don't think I have keyframes on it. There are keyframes on here. Why are there keyframes on here? Shouldn't be any keyframes. Oh, it's just in general, when you create a time remapping, it creates keyframes at the beginning of your timeline and at the end of your timeline. But yeah, so not to worry. So I'm going to time, right-clicking on the layer, time, enable time remapping. then I'm holding Alt and I'm clicking on the stopwatch to add this expression. And things are broken right now because it doesn't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine because I'm going to make it clear. So this is, this is start and end. So it's the first keyframe and the second keyframe. And I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to create a in animation. But for this, I actually need to figure out the distance in seconds. Yes, in seconds of when this is happening in the timeline, or when, from when till when this should be playing back. So it's playing back from 1 hour actually. It's 0, but we're in 1 hour in the timeline just so I can see layers that are pushed back behind 0. And then the in animation finishes at 1 second and 5 frames. So let's go back to this. So this is at 60 and 61.1, I think. 61.1 back to 60. And I'm hoping... and it's using that time, the out, but actually I want the in of this text animation. And let's see if I'm at the right frame. Okay, so right now we're at 1 second and 2 frames. So a little bit further. Let's go to 3. Nope, that's too far. Okay, so 2 or 1.5. 2 is the right answer. So because what happens now is it's playing back the scene between this first keyframe and the second keyframe, and then it's just a freeze frame, which works perfectly fine for this title. Yes, my comp starts at 1 hour because, let me finish this expression and then I'll get into that. Because if I was to create an expression that didn't do that, and it was, yep, sure, this long, whatever, it's a square now, doesn't matter. It starts at 0, right? Fine. And I'll create a bunch of layers here. Whoops, let's create a bunch of layers. And let's say these layers are doing something like a bounce animation. Actually, let's bring in a bounce animation. So I have a bounce here. Yep, sure, let's copy this and let's put it in our example comp. Let's make this really long. And so now this bounces in, okay? It does this. Let's make this black so we can see better. And let's say I want a bunch of them to bounce in, okay? And I want them to be sequenced. Okay, let's sequence them. Cool, they're sequenced now. But I actually want the sequencing, the bouncing, to be looped, for example, which right now is not the case. We can add a loop to this. Actually, we can't because it already has the bounce expression on it. All right. Let's not use the bounce as an example. Let's use the loop out ping pong, okay? That's already a loop expression. All right. So what this does is it like enlarges, okay? And we have a bunch of these and they are sequenced, but I don't want them to do that. I want them to start at 0 to continue doing that. This is not a very specific example because with in and out animation, you don't see the end of something. But let's just assume you saw when the first, the second layer, the third layer, the fourth and the fifth layer were starting their animation, but you don't want to see that popping up, you know, you want them to always be doing that. Usually what you do is either when all of your layers are in the timeline, when all of the layers have started, that's where you start your scene. But then that also means that your video, if you were to export this out as is, your video or your composition starts 48, or in my example, it starts 48 frames into the timeline, but the video you export starts at 0 frames at the timeline. So if this was a client project or a team project where somebody else is giving you feedback, or maybe you are watching the video back and say, oh, at 1 minute and 5 frames, there's something wrong in my animation. Let me go back into After Effects and fix that. But now you have to keep in account that the 1 minute 5 frames doesn't match 1 minute and 5 frames in After Effects. You have to calculate this difference in when you started your work area. Then you might think, okay, that's annoying. I don't want that. I want my video and my comp to start at 0. Okay, let's push these back so that the very last one is the one that's hitting 0. Okay, that's cool. Now you have another problem. You have keyframes that go into nothingness when you cannot click them, right? I cannot access the keyframes that are passed here somewhere in the background. So this is why I start all of my, except some template comps, I start all of my compositions at 1 hour so I don't have this issue. So that if I have sequenced and overlapping frames, I can push them back, I can still see their properties, and I can access all of the keyframes, but, I deleted that. But my comp still starts at a kind of 0 point, even though it's at 1 hour, but my animations are never going to be an hour long, so factoring that 1 hour into my my time code is not going to be an issue. So there you have it. That's the explanation of why I start my compositions at 1 hour instead of at 0. I hope that makes sense. You can start at 10 minutes as well. I used to do that, and that's fine, but that still means you eventually have to calculate that 10 minutes in. And actually, I'm not technically starting at 1 hour. I mean, I am, but what I do is I set up my start time code to 59 minutes, and I have my composition 1 minute plus long. So 1 minute to arrive at 1 hour, and then however long I want my composition to be. So I actually only have 1 minute leeway, not 1 hour leeway, 1 minute leeway before I start the actual scene. So that's the start time code that I'm amending here. So just so you know, because if I did have everything at 0 and I just started this at 1 hour, then yeah, you have like an hour worth of timeline before you actually start animating, and that can get super, super long. So that's why I amend the start time code, and the duration before my scene starts is actually only 1 minute. So yeah. No worries. Please do feel free to jump in when something is unclear. This is what I'm doing the streams for you to learn something new, to maybe amend your workflow, to get tricks on how you can work in After Effects and within animation, so you're not interrupting at all. I'm super happy to give you insights into how I'm working. Okay, so let's delete that comp. We don't need that anymore. And where were we? Here. So we have the in animation, and as soon as this animates in, it just stays there. It's just a static frame. And now what I can do is when I want this to leave, which is around here, I think, I can duplicate this, D, and I can change this to the out animation, and it will play it back. And because this is the same, they look the same, I can just cut this one, this layer right here, and this is a little bit late, so it probably needs to finish like, let's see. Yeah, it needs to finish like right about there. So I'm gonna cut this one right here, and also these keyframes need to animate back, and the way I can do that is, let's see if I can scroll up a little bit. So you can see that. I can highlight my keyframes, right click, and I can go to keyframe assistant, and it's off screen unfortunately, but I can then go all the way to the bottom of that menu and choose time reverse keyframes, and then they are swapped around so that this set of keyframes is the same and this set of keyframes is the same, so it has an in and an out animation. And I usually make this slightly shorter, so maybe like 10 frames. Oops, I had both sets highlighted, so something like that. And then we have the logo coming in. Floop. And then we have that whole thing.
For videos in my detective
and so at this point we have the out animation, and it already starts here. It's already starting. Let's have a look. So it starts here, and I'm going to put a big fat out in there, and to call that marker dialog window, you can hold Alt and the little star symbol on your extended numpad keyboard. So if you only have the small keyboard that doesn't have the numerical pad on the side, then there is another way. I just don't know what the other way is. But if you do have that keyboard with the numbers, you can hit the multiply or the star symbol while holding Alt, and it opens this dialog window, and you can immediately write a comment that will then show up as marker text. If you then hit the enter on the numerical pad, it then also closes that window, and because I didn't input anything, it cancelled out what I had already written there. So let's put that back, and when I go out of this composition, I can go to a marker, right click, and update markers from source, and it brings all of the markers from inside of the comp to the outside of that layer. So there is the out animation starts here, which is totally fine. And what I also like to do is mark the end of a composition. So let's go out again, update comp, and this is where I cut them off. So as soon as that composition is over, I cut it out, and we can add a bit of a so shorten this break. What I can do is hold Control-Shift-D, that duplicates the layer and cuts it at the playhead. And with LL, I can see the waveform, and I want this to start back up where this composition finishes. But obviously I want this transition to overlap. So this is where 2 is going to start. And that means this very first frame, or this very first composition, needs to have the animation in. That's the one. And nope. Let's go out of this, and we're here. And let's see. Yep, so they are just about overlapping so that there is not enough null frames, like frames where nothing is happening. So just as this one is disappearing, that one is coming in, which is perfect. So, and we don't have a background. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have this background go all the way to the end. This is the approximate end of this animation. And then if I ever need to change the color of the background, I can do it on this background layer. Okay, so this is the animation of that. And it happens multiple times only because I have multiple of these happening, and I need to sort that out at some point and have the correct animations happening here. So for now, let's save that. And actually, let's play that back, shall we? Let's see where this ends, and I'll put a marker here. Oops, didn't mean to click that. So this is the in animation of, well, let's call it in 1, okay? Actually, let's call it what it says in the expression. So it's anim01 in. And I can close this because we finished with that scene. And we can update the markers here, and that's the end. And let's just have a look at this. Let's see. I'll pre-render this.
And in this video, we'll be exploring Mitre attack.
It's gonna play back the audio as it's rendering, so don't worry about that. Once it's all the way through, it will play it back.
And is the blueprint videos in my attack detective series. Attack stands for
Oh wait. Is there a attack stands for? Oh yeah, we need this header to be there as well. So that's something else we need to add, but we're not going to do that now.
Hi there, I'm Andy, and in this video we'll be exploring Mitre attack, the framework which I might hardly refer to.
Oh, that didn't.
Periodic table of cyber attacks.
That didn't render very well.
Is the blueprint for all the video. My attack detective series. Attack stands for adversarial.
Ooh, I have a bad feeling that you might be experiencing lag right now. I hope you can still hear me and see me, because my internet connection has just dropped to a minimum. I really hope that's not going to be a problem for you. Ooh, let's see. Okay, let's play this back.
Hi there, I'm Andy, and in this video we'll be exploring Mitre attack, which I hardly refer as the periodic table cyber attacks, and is the print for all the videos in my attack detective defense series. Attack or adversarial.
Okay, so something else is supposed to be happening at this point, which I didn't include yet, but that's fine. We're just gonna move on. So he says, la la la, all of these things. And when he says, Mitre is the organization, that's where our second scene, our infographic scene, is starting. Okay, so usually I start each scene wherever the scene in my main composition starts, so not at 0, but I've now started playing with all of my scene compositions starting at 0 and then pushing them in the timeline. So let's see if that works out. I'm going against my developed workflow. Oh, sorry, I just hit the mic. My developed workflow that I have developed over many years. So let's see if that's going to bite me in the bum. But I hope not. So let's cut this one. Control-Shift-D-L-L to reveal the waveform, and we can leave a little bit of silence and pull this forward. And this is now 3. This is the third scene, and I like it when all of my scenes, all of my pre-comps are orange. That's kind of my go-to color for my pre-comps, because you can also see the group color here. So when I'm in green, I know that that's a template comp. When it's orange, I know that's a scene comp. When I'm in the red, that means it's a main composition. So let's bring in Mitre. And oh no, that's a super tiny composition. So first of all, I want to add my start time code. It's 9 minutes. We're working with 9 minutes on these. Well, it's 1 minute leeway until we are at 1 hour, and then 8 minutes long. I think that is what it should be. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this one actually. So Control-K to jump into the scene, and yeah, we're at 9 minutes. So let's do that. Control-K, and I can jump in and amend all of this. And this should be 9 minutes long. And since I've set the size and everything of this. Oh, and these are at 60 minutes. So remember, if you're working with different sizes and frame rates on different projects, After Effects remembers that. So when you're switching projects with the different frame rate and create a new composition or even import a composition, that composition will have the settings memorized from the last composition you created. So remember that when you're creating new compositions, to check your settings before you hit OK. This is not for the infographics show. My name is Sonja. I'm a motion designer and I create explainer videos on various edutainment topics where I educate and entertain. And this series is part of a collaboration with me and Andy. Andy's a cybersecurity expert, and I'm helping him with an animation, animating one of his upcoming explainer videos on cybersecurity. So I am not affiliated with the Infographics show, but I am an infographic animator, if you will. So let's set up the rest of these, and I think the first one also needs to be amended. Let's check. Okay, yep, still 60 frames. And this one, okay, also 60 frames. We're at 25 frames per second. And the rest of them should be fine. Okay. Oh, I have an itchy nose. Okay, so I don't need this one, and I'm going to close these for now. I don't want to have too many comps open. And now I want to bring this miter in here. And it's not set up at all yet. So because the composition was only 1 minute long, that's where all of the layers stop. So now that I've made it longer, I need to drag the layers out, and I also need to go to that 1 minute mark. It's a 1 minute mark, really, but because my start time code is amended, it shows up as 1 hour. So it's really the 1 minute mark. And I always put a start marker here because of that 1 minute leeway. So the difference between the frame rates that I use is, if I'm working on personal projects, I like to animate in 60 frames per second because I think it looks far smoother, far nicer, and I prefer it. But it does make things a little bit heavier on the rendering, on the animation. It has more frames, so it needs to render a lot more. So for client projects, I usually animate in 25 frames per second. If I'm animating a GIF, I sometimes animate that in an even lower frame rate because GIFs can't handle that much information. So then I go down to either 20 frames per second if the original animation was 60. I might even animate at 60 frames, but then render it out at 20. Or if I want like that stop motion effect, sometimes I animate at 12 frames per second. So it's really project dependent in what frame rate I animate in. Or sometimes the person I'm animating it for, like a client, they already know that they want a certain frame rate because they're putting it on YouTube, on an online cloud platform. Those usually operate between 25 and 30 frames. Recently, YouTube in the recent years has adapted to the 60 frames per second, but previously 25 frames was the standard for online platforms. So it really depends on your use. Oh, sorry. I have a bit of hay fever, so I'm like sniffing a little bit. Yes, thanks, Streaks. Streaks, is that's probably the way to pronounce it, right? Streaks. Thank you. Yes, I did used to work at Kurzgesagt, the edutainment YouTube channel. So that's maybe where you know my style from, those of you who are wondering. So what I've done here is I have a bunch of reference layers because I've created all of these sub-composition, the pre-comps, for each one of these. But I kept them in here so that when I bring in the pre-comps, I know how to place them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click and go to guide layer. That way they will not get rendered. Doesn't matter if I have the eye on or off, they will not get rendered. And I also add them to the none, so they will be grayed out. That way it's like immediately obvious, okay, they are just reference layers. Now the ring I'm going to keep, but I'm going to create so I'm going down, you can't see that, but I'm going down to create and create shapes from vector layer. Sorry if I'm shouting, but these headphones are really good at noise cancelling and they're cancelling out my own voice, so that's probably why I'm shouting. So now I have this ring as a shape layer, which means I can throw a trim path effect on that, and I can animate this right now. And, oops, nope. I want to zoom into this, and then, oh no, oh no. Oh no, what happened here? Oh no, it's a fill? Why the hell is this a fill? Okay, for some reason it didn't create just a stroke, but it's a fill. So let's have a look at what happened here. I can right click, go to reveal and reveal in Explorer. Then it will open the Explorer window and it will show me that. And I can go inside and have a look, double click and open Illustrator and have a look what happened there because something went wrong. And we have a lot of dropped frames right now. I'm really sorry if this stream is a little bit laggy right now because something happened with my internet and now it's super slow. Let me check for a second if you can see me okay. You can also let me know in the chat if you can see me okay or if you can't see what's happening. I'm just gonna quickly check that the stream is happening okay. Because I'm really worried about all of these dropped frames. So, something seems to be going wrong with the internet. Do let me know in the chat if you can still see me. If not, I'll just re-upload this video and hopefully that's going to work. Sorry about that. YouTube doesn't seem to be showing the stream anymore. Give me just a moment. Hey folks, sorry for the interrupted stream. I'll make sure to upload the full stream file at the end of the stream so you can watch the entirety of the stream instead of having to go to two separate parts. There was some kind of issue with my stream key, so I had to restart the stream. And hopefully there won't be any dropped frames. Right now I can see my internet speed switching between green and yellow, but no drop frames so far. So if you were part of that previous stream, I hope you managed to find your way back here, even though the stream was interrupted. Sorry about the interruption. Oh, I'm not typing. Sorry about the interruption. and the chat is working. So yeah, I hope anyone who was watching the previous stream managed to make it back here. Yeah, so I'll just continue. I lost a whole bunch of people who were super into this stream, which is a real shame for all of those. But such is life, such is technical difficulties. So let's jump right in. Let's jump back in to be more precise. And what I was doing is checking my Illustrator file of my animation, and this is locked, and there's something going on here, and I suspected that it was the brush because I need to keep it at the basic brush. Oh, sorry about that. And it needs to be 3 points. And I would like this to have rounded edges, and when I save that, I can go back into After Effects and eventually it will update, and then I can go to create shapes from vector, and that now has the stroke instead of being a filled object, and then I can throw trim paths onto this and animate this. Bring this down to 0. Oh no, it still appears to be... Okay, maybe I didn't give it enough time to update. Let's reveal in composition, and I can go reload footage. And maybe this time is gonna work. Create shapes from vector layer. Let's open this up, and it does have a stroke, so that's good. Doesn't seem to be doing anything with that stroke though. Internal verification failure, sorry. Oh no. Doesn't like it. Let's close Illustrator, maybe that's the issue. So something isn't right here and I don't know what it is. Like this stroke doesn't seem to be working at all. So not only does my stream have technical difficulties, but so does After Effects. Alright, I'll try and restart After Effects, and maybe then it will let me do what I wanted to do. Okay, give me just a moment until I've got After Effects running again. Okay, here we are. Oh dear. Let's jump back into this, and I'm gonna try this again with create shapes from vector, layer, and let's add a trim path. And now it finally wants to do it. Okay, I don't know what the issue was. So let's just add the trim path immediately. It's actually not gonna go all the way around immediately, but it doesn't matter, we've got it now, which means I can either delete this or create a guide layer. I'll just create a guide layer and put it in the back of this, and I usually make my background layers brown. And now we're going to add these subcomps in here. So we've got the server, we've got attack, other resources, and CVE. So let's bring these in here. And why are they so short? I thought I made them. Oh no, I think I added the assets. Okay, I didn't add the pre-comps. So I want the pre-comps, not the assets. And actually, since these are pre-comps, I will use a different color for these. So let's make them blue, for example. On top of the ring. Okay, cool. And I'll cut them off and I'll add a keyframe and I'll trim them to the beginning of this composition. And now obviously there are in random positions, so I'm going to position them where they're supposed to be, and random assets, not other resources, not random assets. Other resources is that one. This is that one. Hi, you made it back. I'm so glad. I don't know what happened. The stream just cut out. I had to restart it. I had to regenerate a stream key in OBS, and yeah, I had to restart the entire thing. So sorry about that. I will upload the whole stream at the end of this, so there's not like multiple parts of the stream. As soon as we finish the live, I'll just upload, but it looks like we have an extreme lag going on. I'm really sorry if you're seeing this kind of laggy. I don't know what is going on. To really stop that, I'd have to restart my router. That would interrupt the stream again. So I'm gonna just continue, and at the end of this, upload the video, and then you can just watch the video that doesn't have lag, hopefully. Alright, so we've got this, and we've got we've got this one, which is the CVE. Okay, that's that. Oh, what happened here? Oh, okay, that's fine. That goes here, and I thought I moved this already. I guess not. Okay, and now I'm going to issue this a null object, which is going to be the controller of all of these, control all, because they are going to move from the center slightly, or like from slightly below the center to the center as soon as this title disappears. So let's put a keyframe here and let's make that a hold frame. That's the final position, but we are actually starting from a lower position, so it's not, oh wait, these are not linked to that yet. Okay, now we can move down. Okay, and we can hide these now because we don't need them anymore. Oh, we do need the mitre title. The title, there we go. Okay, now let's move these down so they have a bit more room to breathe. And why are these white? Do these have backgrounds? Oh, they all have backgrounds. Why? No one knows why. Okay, also all of my layers are too short, of course. So we need to start those and yeah, we just need to elongate all of these layers. Okay, got them. Alright. And, yes, they all have a background for some reason. Not sure why I decided to give them a background when we don't actually need one. Alright, so, now. But there's still a background? Oh no, that's a mask. Okay, this is a mask. We can make that brown. And these documents are going to use that mask as as a set mat. So we're gonna find set mat in this, and they're gonna use the mask, and I can copy that and add it to the other documents. And I like to give this colors, and actually it's not an alpha but an inverted. But I'm gonna give all of these colors, random colors, just whatever I think might work. And this is something we don't need. And we need to change this to Revert matte. Okay. Invert matte, not revert matte. Invert matte. And we don't see the mask. Okay, cool. And we'll save. So what's gonna happen here? So first we have this one. And let's go. So first we have this, it's in the center. Then it's going to go up as that mitre disappears. And we also want to update keyframes, and we're going to move this in the position of this scene. And also this background, we actually don't have that background. And we want the text. So we're going to move the text layer in here. And I hopefully set this up with essential properties, but only with the global size. So that's not very useful. So let's change that. Let's open the essential properties in here. Oh, that's not a lot of space. Let's put it here instead. Title template. Okay, so I need the text. The text of this. W, and we'll put this here. Text. Then, I mean, that's really it, right? I guess I can also, let's see where I took this from. I took this from the text size. Why did I do that? Oh, okay, so it makes the text smaller. Okay. The background is already a guide layer. What I can do is I can use this as the global position. So and now I want to change the text to just mitre. Oh, and I need quotation marks. So it's mitre, and we're gonna shrink this down to like 50% and pull this up to, okay. Why is the global position not working? That's weird. Oh, I guess these are not actually connected to that. Alright, so we need the position of the text. Text position. Let's see if that's going to work. Yeah, okay. Let's just do that then. So, text position. Okay, so now I can move this up here. Yeah, sure. Alright, so now we don't need this anymore. No, we don't need this anymore. Because now we have this. And let's see what the storyboard says. So we have mitre coming in and this building up. Okay, so let's jump into the server animation. Because this, I wanted this to like somehow build up. Okay, so we have the spine here. Let's put the anchor point at the bottom, and then we can like scale it up or something. And let's give these stacks different colors so we know that they belong together. And maybe the last one is like fuchsia. Cool. And I would like these to have controllers. I don't like parenting layers to other layers. I like having distinct controllers, and I usually use the null object, or I create a null object from with the motion 3, because it immediately parents the layer I have highlighted to that. And I always name my controllers and any other object that I'm creating. Stack 03. All right. Now, what I could imagine happening is, first, let's prep this as well. Maybe this bounces up. So I have a prep here. I have this bounce animation that I use. And which one was it again? The server, I think. So let's put that on here. So maybe it like pops up. Ooh. It like pops up. And right at that point, this spine. Let's give this another color, maybe orange. Hi, thanks for the question, Streaks. I do not currently work at Kurzgesagt, no. I left Kurzgesagt at 2018 and have been freelancing since. So any videos between 2016 and 2018 I was involved in. Some I wasn't in that time because there are multiple projects running at the same time usually. So some of those videos I was involved in, and you can always see me in the credits. But I am not currently working there. Thanks for the question. Ooh, I need to drink more. I've barely drunk anything today, or at least it feels that way. It was super hot today. Okay, so we have the spine. And I want to scale it up from the bottom. So let's give this keyframe. I don't know. Let's have this. And it goes, yeah, from this position. So from 0 all the way up. And let's have this be 75%. So this pops up. And as soon as it hits this, this one's going to pop up. And I'm going to trim the paths, the layers, not paths. So this can now pop up maybe a little bit later. So it's like here maybe. No. Let's have it where it was before. And then as it hits that one's gonna pop up. And then okay, maybe this is too slow. Let's have this at easy ease so they actually pop up at like a relatively even speed. So more like this. Okay. And maybe these can have like bleep bloop. Like these dots can change color, so they're like blinking in different colors. For that, I need to add a fill, and then I can change the color. So I can change it from white. Actually, I can have one controller. I'm gonna create a control all. And I'll have a color control on here. No, I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind because if I connect these color controllers to that, then it might be too homogeneous. Let's add a keyframe to this. And then the color might become this color. And I just want them to be hold frames. And maybe one of the colors is going to be that blue that we have from the hacker character, and I think I saved those colors, so I can open Adobe Color and it should be able to show me. Let's put it here. Takes a moment. Hopefully it's actually loading. Come on, Adobe Color Themes, why are you not working? Okay, there we go. My themes. No, it got stuck again. Come on. Okay, so it's this, and it's got that like light blue. Then it can go back to white. Then maybe it goes back. It goes to the darker blue. Then it goes back to this one. Oh, actually, I just realized this is a different color, this. Maybe this back one, the spine should also be a different color, but I'll fix that later. Also, it's, oh yeah, I don't actually have a white color. I'm using this like gray color anywhere I'm using a type of white. So, and then it can okay, maybe it's too many colors. Maybe it just becomes this darker. No, let's have it like this. And then it just does that. So let's just say it starts here and then it goes dark blue, white, dark blue, white. If I have 3 keyframes, then I can loop it. And I can just add a loop out, and then it will loop this color sequence. And then I can add this fill, add a slide sequenced, and I'll add it here, and then they like bleep bloop at different times. And same with this one, they bleep bloop at different times. And then it looks something like that. And then we can add the same thing to these. U, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. V. And same with these. V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm counting 5 frames distance. See, and now they're bleep blooping at different times because the layers are sequenced and the keyframes are sequenced, so it has a little bit of randomness. And then this like bounces up. Bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop. And now we can work with the... Oh, okay. Yeah. So at this point, let's see what we need to do. It just animates away. So we don't have anything happening here apart from the animation out, which is... This is the animation in as far as I understand. Yep. And this should be the animation out. Out. Should be at this point. Well, kind of. It should be before this point, really. But let's just start it here. This is in, and this is also in for some reason. So let's make this one be out. Starts here, and the other ones, we don't need them. I'm just gonna turn them off because they're already set up and I can use them for the later scenes. But I can just turn them off for now. Also, the audio is not relevant, but I think it's already set as a guide layer. And then this, oh wait, this needs to cut out here so that this one can animate backwards. And this is the end of that scene. Then we can update the layers here. Oh, what happened here? So okay, let's have the out animation happen at this point. Okay. Okay. And then the end. The end is nigh. Update layer from source. And then hopefully they overlap a little bit, but not too much. Nope, they overlap way too much. So let's see where we can animate this out. So covering the various methods that hackers use to break into a system achieving their nefarious objectives. Maybe add and achieve.
And achieve their...
That's already, yeah, and achieve their nefarious objectives. So let's have this start here. So this needs a little bit more. Yeah, okay, this is perfect. Maybe this needs to be just a little bit longer before it says MITRE. Okay. Nice. Is this already updated? Yes. So we cut this at this point. Save. Okay, this needs to happen just a tad earlier. Let's see if that works out. No, I don't want these to overlap. Okay, that means this audio just needs to scoot a little bit.
MITRE is the organization which developed attack and a bunch of other awesome.
Wait.
As well as
so which developed attack? Okay, so at this point we want attack to be present. Oh, I feel a... Excuse me, I felt a sneeze coming on. Okay, so I don't know if I want to use this smaller version of that board or if I just want to use that board. I don't know. There is a way I can make this template even more templatey. But let's go with this for now. Okay, so let's go with this for now. Bar top, bar bottom, screen. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't separate the layers. I'm gonna have to go back into the Illustrator file and separate the layers. Okay, anyway, so let's just have that in there as a reference layer. We are getting close to closing time for this live stream, so I'm going to fix that another time. So let's see.
Is the organization
Which? Okay, also at this point, the circle, the ring animation should be going to the next position. So it's actually going from here to 1, 2, no, yes, 2, and it needs to go 25%. Oh, only that the start is apparently somewhere else. Okay, let's rotate this 45 degrees. Minus 45, no, minus 90 degrees. Okay, because then I can go... I cannot see anything. Cannot see anything. Yeah, so and then we have this away somewhere. So this is the next. Other resources. That's this one. Starts here, which means this animation pauses, and then 1, 2 continues until 50%.
The security industry, including these,
Okay, and this is the CVE. So that happens at this point, which means this continues to grow. And that just goes all the way to the end. And all right, so what I wanted to do here for this guy is that maybe let's see what I can do with this. Hexagon and frame, I'll color these in, then I have the lines, I'll make them purple, and then I have the dot outline, I'll make them yellow. Dot center, I'll make that fuchsia to stand out. Dot fill, I'll make that, I don't know, like orange, sure. Dot at the and I'll make them running out of colors. Green, whatever. Okay. And then what I want to do is first this scales down. I have an idea. And also scale. And let's scale this down. Let's scale this down. And we'll also position this. We'll start with the position being here. Okay. Let's have the 75% velocity. And also I want, oh, I just realized that I want the frame shapes, no. I want the frame strokes to remain the same. So I need to create shapes from vector, but currently this has the same problem as previously when I created shapes from vector and it created a shape instead of a stroke. So I need to open, reveal in Explorer, open that, and change the properties of the stroke. Alrighty. So this is a 3-point stroke, so I'm just going to highlight all strokes, stroke color, same stroke color. I'm all going to make them basic and 3-point stroke with rounded edges and rounded ends. Save that, go back to After Effects, reveal in, okay, I have to reveal one of them. Reveal layer in source project, and I'm just going to reload the footage, save in case I haven't saved in a while. Then I'm going to create shapes from vector, and now it should have a stroke, and hopefully no problems in amending that stroke. It has a path, and I have a nifty little expression to keep paths the same thickness. Motion 3 is the best plugin. I agree, Alex. It is my most used plugin, that's for sure. Alright, stroke, same width, scaling, that's the one. This is an exceptional expression that you can throw on your stroke width when you're scaling a layer so that the stroke width always stays the same, and then your designs will always look the same. Isn't that magical? And hopefully this has carried over the what am I trying to say? The keyframes. And I'm animating quickly, I can no longer think, so speaking is a bit of an issue. So I want to delay the position shift a little bit so that it yeah, it does that. So now it does this. Cool, huh? And then as this grows, these dots are gonna pop up, okay? So as soon as this is big enough to house the first dot, the center dot here, I'm gonna throw this pop-up bounce on it that I've already got set up with a scale and some bounce expression, which is it's the inertial bounce expression. So I'm going to, where were we? It's the other resources, I think. And that's going to just bounce. And as soon as that bounce is open, these lines, which also need to be vector layers. So I'm going to redo these, make them purple, make these lines guide layers, even though they turned off. But most of the time I just delete them, but I've gotten used to just putting them at the bottom of the stack and just leaving them there. So once that happens, once this bounce is ready, I'm going to start animating the trim paths of the lines that are coming from this center position, okay? So I'm throwing a trim paths on this, and I'm trimming the layer where this starts. Trim paths all the way down. But actually it's like 50-50, I think. Approximately 50-50. 1, 2, and then this is 100, 0, and this is 100. And to get it to start exactly in the center of the dot, I mean, this is not too bad. It can start there. That works fine. But I do want this to have maybe just a regular ease at the beginning and a 75% at the end. The keyboard shortcuts for offsetting layers is Control and page down. So if you don't have an extended keyboard, you might not have the page down button, but I think you can also use the arrow keys. Let me check. So it's Control. No, that's for shifting. Control Alt. No. Okay, so Control Shift page down. Oop. No, wait, it's not page down. Now I'm confused. So you can move the playhead with page down and page up, and if you hold Shift, it's 10 frames instead of 1 frame. And I think it's Alt. Yes, okay. Alt, page down, page up. With Shift, it's 10 frames instead of 1 frame. But I'm pretty sure you can do this with arrow keys as well, but I don't know how, and I may have moved this yet. Now, Control Alt arrow keys? No, that just means you're jumping to the beginning and end of the timeline. Okay, let's see. I don't know how to do this without the extended keyboard and the page down, page up. So essentially it's Alt, page down, page up with Shift 10 frames. So that's how I do it. Yeah, sometimes it's like I'm doing these shortcuts without thinking. So when I then have to switch to thinking and explain it to somebody, I'm like, how does that work? I don't even know. I don't even know what my fingers are doing, basically. Okay, so it's right now, I don't know if you can see that, it's starting from this point, okay? I'm gonna try using the offset to move it to, like, the center. Let's turn off the... Where is it? Here. Let's turn this off for a moment. And, off is not good. Let's turn the opacity down so I can see where this is. Okay. So now... I've got, where's my trim path? Here. Okay, so I want this to start right at the center of this. Doesn't matter if it's exactly in the center. The only problem that this might cause is because I've offset it, it might not animate all the way to the end of this path. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can, yeah, okay, this is probably the closest we're gonna get without cutting anything off. Oh. What? Oh, this is... this is disconnected. Okay, so we have 2 paths here. Alright. What? Why? But it's only 1 path. Oh, this is not the path. Okay, it's the wrong thing. Okay, so we have apparently 2 paths here, but we don't. Why is this showing up as two separate paths? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. That's the offset. That's what I was worried about, because if I offset it at the beginning, it's gonna create this, like, thing here. That's annoying. I can maybe offset it into minus, but then I just end up having that over there. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So I want this to start here. But I don't want it to have that happening. And that's annoying. The only other way of doing this video, the way I can think of it, is just separate it at the center here and just have it start at the center and go outwards. Then I don't have the issue with, like, the offset and everything else. So that's just something I'm gonna need to fix, but it's not something I'm gonna do now. So let's just throw this trim path onto this, because it's happening at the same time. So this is bouncing, and as soon as it hits these dudes, I want them to bounce as well, okay? So they're starting here, and they have the bounce, they have this bounce. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna highlight them again. So it's this one and this one at the same time. I need to hold shift instead of control. And then at that point, they're gonna bounce. And same with this one and this one. So this one's gonna bounce a little earlier. It's not gonna be perfect because I'm gonna have to adjust the animation of these lines anyway at some point, but it's like approximate, right? Okay, so, and I'm gonna have to add that expression to the lines as well. So there's that too. And let's see which other lines. This one. And when this animation is finished, the end of these lines is gonna bounce. Okay, and where is this line going? Here. This one as well. And now this whole system is going to get built up. And as soon as this is finished, so where is this bounce finishing? This one is finishing here. Well, I guess it can start at the same time as this circle is starting up. So now I'm going to grab this trim path. Actually, no, I'm not going to grab this trim path because it's different. I'm going to throw a new trim path on this. Hey Streaks, my hardware specifications, I have 32 gig on my RAM, yes. That's pretty good, but you can go higher. Your render and your playback in After Effects is going to be faster, but I would recommend a minimum of 32 gigs. For RAM, I have an NVIDIA graphics card. I don't know which one. It's is it the TG series? I don't remember right now. I'd have to like go into my system to find out. What else do I have? Definitely go with a more expensive, faster graphics card if you can. I once worked with an NVIDIA Quadro, which is like thousands of pounds, but it was excellent. It was the best graphics card I've ever worked with. Renders were incredibly fast because you can, with a media encoder, you can use the graphics card to help with your render. That was really, really cool. But those are expensive. You can get a cheaper one, but do try and stay within the higher range. I don't have a lot of experience, or rather not a lot of positive experience with other graphics cards, so I've always stuck with Nvidia. I'm really happy with them. I have an Intel i7, Intel Core i7, or whatever the name is. That was the best at the time the best that at the time that I could afford in 2018 is when I bought my machine, and I have a 1 terabyte SSD hard drive. I would recommend getting an SSD hard drive instead of a HDD, which is the old school spinning one. An SSD is a digital graphics card, not graphics card, sorry, hard drive, and it processes data much faster, so you don't have that like hard drive lag that you might have with an HDD. So would recommend. And I also have a external hard drive with 3 or 5 terabytes, I'm not sure. So I do often put things in a graveyard. So I have a backup section, and I also have a graveyard, which means I move stuff from my computer onto the hard drive, like old client projects that I don't need to access every day, to keep my hard drive kind of clean, my working hard drive kind of clean. And that works quite well for me. So I hope that helps. Sorry, I couldn't tell you my graphics card, but an Nvidia T-series is pretty good. And there are much better ones out now after, 3 years. So would recommend. Alright, so let's maybe just have this at 10 frames, and then as soon as that arrives, we can have a pop-up there. And at this point, this one has to pop up too, and this needs to start animating. And with X, if you highlight a layer in your project preview, you can hit X on your keyboard to jump to that layer in your timeline. It's really useful. Okay, another trim pass. Let's go down to 0, like 10 frames. Oops. 10 frames forward, 100. I should have probably added an easy ease to the other one. Ah, there we go. Just an easy ease should be fine. Maybe the last frame can be 75%. Oh yeah, thank you for the reminder to stay hydrated. I do need to drink more. The other day, I was editing, and my eye started developing literally like dead pixels on a screen. It was like RGB colors that were set up like in lines, tiny strips of red, green, and blue, arranged in like a circle, and that circle was expanding in my eye, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going blind. What the hell is happening? That was so scary. Turned out I hadn't drunk enough and I needed to drink more. So remember to stay hydrated. Alright, then at this point, when this reaches here, we have this one pop up, and as soon as that one finishes, we have this one pop up, and boy, are there many lines. Okay, so as soon as this hits here, we're gonna have this line that I cannot quite touch. That's a separate line. Okay, this one. At this point, we have this one. add a trim path down to 0. Let's have this one at 10 frames. No, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's a little bit longer. Yeah, sure, why not? 15 frames. Last keyframe is a 75% velocity. As soon as we hit this, we have... And I still have this scale pop-up bounce in my clipboard, so I'm just pasting that on all of the frames, which is why I'm not copy-pasting the trim path, just so I can keep this one in my clipboard. Yes, and at this point, this will start animating. So, starts here, trim paths. This one's super small. Let's give this 10 frames. And last frame, 75%. First frame is easy ease, and we're almost there. I'm getting a little tired now, so I'm gonna finish this, and then I think we're gonna finish the stream for today, because my knees are kind of killing me, and I'm getting a little bit tired from talking so much. You know I love the stream. I'm not getting tired of you, so don't worry about that. Okay, we've got this one to pop up. We've got that one to pop up. Okay, lots of them are popping up now. Nice, nice, nice. And we can turn the opacity of this one back up. And we've got bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep. Okay, this one isn't finished. I think this one is supposed to... when is this one supposed to go? When this finishes... This one's supposed to pop up. Okay, there we go. This seems to be kind of late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll make this one 5, and then this one can pop up at this point. Same with this one. I think 10 frames is a little too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then this one can pop up here. There needs to be some overlapping happening, but we'll fix that later on. Okay, so at some point this needs to happen as well. When is that happening? Oh, okay, so when this hits... Yeah, this is gonna be the same issue with, like... with the 50-50 split. Now I'm going to copy the trim pass, because this one... Yeah... Yeah, we'll figure it out later. I'm just gonna start this here. Oh, it kind of is starting at the right... Oh, no, it's not starting at the right point because it's supposed to go here and down this way. Okay, doesn't matter. So, yeah, also the timing of all of these pop-ups is going to be, like, messed up as soon as I change this. So, where to learn about expressions? Well, with me. I actually have online classes on this particular topic. You can head to my website, classes.sonjageracek.me. You might have to copy paste this link. And I actually make animation classes, online classes in After Effects, particularly with a focus on animating with expressions. So most, if not all of my classes have expressions, teaching you various types of expressions. I've just launched animate responsive lower thirds, which is the second part of my MOGAT series, where I teach you advanced expressions to create a lower third animation.
Have you
I
ever
can
wanted to describe someone or something
show
in a
you
video?
that.
Maybe mention their name on screen, what they do, combined with a cool animation. Perhaps you need some graphics for your Premiere Pro video project? Hi, I'm Sonja. I'm a motion designer.
So let's skip to the interesting parts. This is essentially the thing I would be teaching you in this class, which is based on the previous class, which kind of sets up all of the expressions to create a title animation, and it uses a whole bunch of auto resize, shape layer, and text-based expressions. And this one goes even more advanced and kind of builds on that title class. So I'll just show you really quick.
A responsive lower third animation in After Effects. You will be able to customize in Premiere Pro as well as use inside After Effects. You will be able to bring a professional polish to your video piece. We will go through
So
the
that was
process
too
of
big.
taking an existing title template and transforming it into a lower third of the same style, while learning new and advanced expressions to create a responsive and modular design.
So the way I learned to do expressions was literally just working on projects that used expressions. I started out making these motion graphics templates, or MOGATs for short, for Adobe Stock. You can find some of these on Adobe Stock. This one, for example, this was my very, very first motion graphics template set that I created for Adobe Stock. You can purchase these. They're quite basic, but this was my first experience with advanced expressions past wiggle and loop. And it's with this project, with these motion graphics templates that I created for Adobe Stock, is how I learned how to create expressions and how to make expressions better, more advanced, clean them up. Of course, I had help as well. I have a developer friend who kind of taught me, yeah, this is how that works. This is how you need to think about this and kind of calculate this. You can take classes on JavaScript. That's the programming language that expressions are based on. So you can take classes on that. And if you use my Skillshare link on my website, you can try Skillshare and take a few of those classes for 14 days for free. And that is a sponsored link, so I will earn a small commission from you signing up to Skillshare at no extra cost to you, so you're just helping me out in that sense. But really, you don't need to take programming classes before you start playing around with expressions. You need to think of a project, something that you'd like to achieve, and then find out how you can get there. And step by step, you will find the puzzle pieces and put them together to understand more advanced expressions. That's how I went about it, and that's how I started making more and more complex expressions. So that's my advice to you. Of course, there's no necessity to enroll in any of my online classes. You can just watch my live streams. They are for free. I will be putting out tutorials as well on various expression types. But yeah, just pick a project, try and figure out what expressions you need for that, and just go from there. That's my main advice. Thanks for the question also. Okay, so now I want to... so this one should pop up around here. I know the line right now is going in the wrong direction, but that's okay for now. And since I've changed my clipboard anyway, might as well copy paste that, and now I can copy the scale thing again. And So this is the last one. And now, when I go to the beginning, nothing should be here. Nice. Yay, we got it. We did it. So it's not perfect, of course. I'm gonna have to, like, fix some of these things, and I can also make it slightly slower, and there's something weird happening here. And I think I'm gonna do a similar thing. I'm gonna bump this open, pop this open, and then my idea was to slide these documents out of this. So they're gonna probably start at this point, position, and then let's slide this one down, slide this one down to here. So, yeah, that's fine. And then the last one, document 3. So 330 is that position. Cool, and then we'll do an easy ease on that and a sequence of, let's say, 5. Sequence the other way, and the easy ease didn't take apparently. Okay, so it goes something like that. Maybe like this point, and maybe a little bit more sequencing, maybe like 10. Maybe this can be a little bit slower. And the sequence is too little. Let's go a whole second. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Let's see what that looks like. So first, okay, so first I want this to be 75% to get to here. And then it can go all the way to 100. Okay, and that's this scene that we only just got to in the last half an hour of the stream, even though that's the scene I promised you. Okay, no, yeah, sure, why not? Let's pre-render the whole thing. Thanks for joining the stream, Streaks. Hope to see you next time. Bye!
MITRE is the organization which developed attack.
Okay, let's actually bring in the transition so we can see the transition as well.
Their nefarious objectives. MITRE is the organization which developed attack, as well as a bunch of other awesome resources for the cybersecurity industry, including the CVE and CVSS models for uniquely identifying and objectively scoring vulnerabilities, and achieve their nefarious objectives. MITRE is the organization which developed attack, as well as a bunch of other awesome resources for the cybersecurity industry, including the CVE and CVSS models for uniquely identifying and objectively scoring vulnerabilities.
Okay, there's some synchronization issues that we have to get to, but we're gonna do that on the next stream. Let's watch it one more time.
Their nefarious objectives. MITRE is the organization which developed attack, as well as a bunch of other awesome resources for the cybersecurity industry, including the CVE and CVSS models for uniquely identifying and objectively scoring vulnerabilities, and achieve their nefarious objectives.
Yeah, alright.
MITRE is the organization which developed Attack, as well as a bunch of other awesome resources for the cybersecurity industry, including the CVE and CVSS models for uniquely identifying and objectively scoring vulnerabilities, and achieve their
Alright, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with it. And there's obviously a few things that we still need to animate. We need to animate this framework, and I need to decide if I want to use the framework from before, and for that I might need to adjust some of the components so I can use it in this context, because if I was to use it here and just scale it down to this size, I think it would look weird. Let's have a look. If I do that, I'm pretty sure that's not gonna look right. So, oops, where is it? Here. So it's essentially like this. And it would go like that. And I would need to scale it down. And yeah, that's starting to look really, really tiny and kind of weird. What I would prefer doing is actually resizing this, but setting it up in the framework as an essential property so that it can be the regular size, but then also a minimized size of that too. So, yeah, let's do that next time. But basically something like this should be happening, okay? So let's turn off this attack thing and something like that, okay? But we'll do that next time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, thank you. Oh no, my earring got stuck in my headphones. Thank you for joining the live stream today, and thank you for sticking out the technical difficulties we had today. I will upload the full stream after this live stream has ended, so that we have one nice block of video that you can watch back if you got kicked out, you missed something, or there was any kind of lag, so you can look forward to that. And as always, if you enjoyed this, you haven't subscribed yet, you can subscribe and support me. You can also like this video, comment, and share it with your friends. I live stream every Friday and Tuesdays is Animation Collab, Friday is Shut Up and Draw, and sometimes I do surprise streams with work watching, where you watch me work on various video and audio editing projects. And yeah, don't forget to tune in again next week. And if you'd like to support me monetarily, I do have a Patreon. You can join the classroom and have access to various expression files, project files, other types of assets, and exclusive perks for the classroom students. I also have a Ko-fi and a Buy Me a Coffee where you can support me with a one-off donation. All the links are in the description, and I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to enroll in my new class that you saw earlier. Bye!